I'm one who's kind of been abnormally born into this particular space. At the time, uh, people had asked me to write resumes for them, and I started that way. Um, I came upon this blog just because somebody saw an article that I wrote and said, "Well, thank you very much for being the voice of job seekers." I said, "Hmm, that could probably work." So it became a blog. Uh, I I dissolved my resume company and started on this journey. Not realizing, or I did realize there was no lane for me to go just straight through. I'll have to create a lane, and I think we didn't do such a bad job at it. So here I am, uh, mostly through writing and a lot of speaking and um, in the various forms that it comes. And I'm here. Uh, pretty simple. The advice, I think, kind of transcends from 2020. Um, a job seeker should be trying to not, well, a modern job search really is where you're pursuing and you're also being pursued. In the past, you are hoping just to be the pursuer for the most part, unless you worked with a recruiter or a headhunter of some sort. For the most but mostly now that you can create ways where you can be pursued, and so that you don't have to do all the chasing. um, a lot of people use the dating analogy, and it has merit, where you'll find people who are interested in you as you find people that you're interested in, and you hope to find a mutual spot to where you're interested in each other. That's the modern job search of today, and I think that that's where people need to seek. So when I tell people that job search, like dating, is a lifestyle, is something that we incorporate, we look for at every corner and opportunity of our lives, or we should be. Otherwise we won't, we'll be frustrated and discouraged from reaching our ultimate goals, is to find something that's fulfilling, that gives us fulfillment and accomplishes a purpose that's intrinsic and meaningful. To narrow it down to one or two, one of the things that I think people are starting to also realize, that it takes a networking hub of some sort to facilitate the ability to reach people, to get to find people to refer, and also to find jobs. And LinkedIn is that networking hub. Now we've had LinkedIn for the last 15 years, right? It's always been there, but I think since we've all become virtual, that's the way we're going to meet. That's where we're going to transact, for the most part. So that, people have now realized that, hey, I need some place where I could find it. Sure, you could find it in the other social networks, like Facebook, but LinkedIn is definitely encouraged to be human, to show your personality, to put some meaningful work out into the space, so that you can be found now, and or to be noticed in some kind of way, and to also have those conversations you need to have to advance your career, to also advance your training, your personal and your professional development, and to start to become attractive to employers. And I think it is truly become a lifestyle now, to because every single opportunity we have in our lives can be linked back to some kind of development that will make us a better employee for someone, if someone desires, or to be a better entrepreneur, which a lot of us want to be at some point or already are. It's not formulaic. Um, there are some key signatures I like to have, and I don't think I've ever shared that publicly before. But um, I when I decided to spend a lot more time in developing content for LinkedIn, realizing the big game changer was writing little mini articles in the post. That definitely was a big game changer. When I saw a lot of other people doing it, uh, that I can actually, do it in less than 200 words. I think that's about how it ends up being, be somewhere between 170 and 200 words. Um, Before I fret it upon using short form, and I think short form is great. I think it's great for content if you're effective writer that way. And some of my content is fairly short, but some of it it's also long. I wrote a long one today as I think about it, and it's about 200 words or close to 200 words. And I try to make it a little bit attractive. Every now and then I kind of find a way to throw a lyric from a song. Um, Most people miss it. But it's one of those things where I actually I love music and I've incorporate music in my communication some kind of way, uh in some ways, and certainly doesn't supersede Bible verses, but in a lot of ways it does. It does communicate a certain way to be memorable, and a few people pick up on it. Most people it misses because I'm older. I'm older, so a lot of the songs will be kind of along the older. But but that's the way I used to communicate. But definitely, I think a lot of job seekers don't put the time in it because they're afraid to be. If you write long form and you write an article, you're being vulnerable. No matter how much you hold back from being personal or how forthright you are in showing your knowledge, there's a vulnerability that comes along with it. And I think a lot of people are afraid of that vulnerability. And I think once I started doing that, things started to kind of change, not particularly just in the number of people that contact, but the quality of conversations that's been able to facilitate. And that's what happens if you put, so yeah, that's the kind of thought I put into it. There's a formula, but there's not a formula in a sense. Definitely the job search, and when there are lessons that I've learned, when there are lessons that the people that read, hear, see my content, um, the clients I used to coach, or people in my job lab sessions from the summer and coming up in the spring. Um, I hear things, and I think that I'm able to translate that into something useful, and I think that that's where um, useful, meaningful content is the thing that actually wins the day, even if nobody likes it, even if there's only one or two people. And I tell you, I don't. As I think about it, there are a couple of times when I've gotten major press where my advice was quoted with something that there weren't a lot of likes to, or that there weren't a lot. And I think people get caught up in those trinkets that don't matter that much. What matters is that how if people can actually use that to either be encouraged to, or give, or to fill them up, or to motivate them, find worth in it, resonate to them, or remind them. All that's useful content. And if it's just one person, that's fine. That doesn't mean you're not doing what you're supposed to do. And I think people, it's too bad that LinkedIn has kind of pulled back the reins on last January and February where things were off the hook, that you can actually write something and a couple of thousand people can do it, even if you only have 100 followers on your LinkedIn profile. So um, I think you know, that's wins the day when somebody or some people find useful and they thank you for it. That's it. You've done the job. It's good.